13.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Ryder here. Welcome to my review of the giant Kong figure from Godzilla vs. Kong from the Monsterverse line. So this is sort of a similar one to Mechagodzilla, where it's basically just a giant figure and it's not like featured with electronics or any special movements or missiles like the large-scale regular Godzilla figure I just recently covered. And he's like an okay figure. Like you can see from him here, he's pretty generic. Like, I think he looks okay. There's another one of a similar style that they recently released that's representing him from Kong Skull Island, and they're kind of similar and they both kind of just stand there, but I thought he looked a little more accurate. There's just something a little bit off about him. Like, I know that these aren't like collector's line figures, they're meant to be more for kids, but just looking at him, he doesn't look to me as good or as accurate as like the Mechagodzilla or the other Godzillas in this line that are also just meant to be kind of budget kid figures and whatnot. So there's just something a little generic about him. I kind of mix him up with the other kind of generic figures I see around. Like there's this Max figure or something that I kept getting confused for a Kong figure, but he's not bad. Like the details on him are okay. You got some scratches there. The sculpting on the fur is not too bad. You know, he looks okay, and I think kids will be totally fine with him. There's still some complaints I have about that. Like for me, aesthetically, just as a collector, I wish he looked a little more accurate. Like I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just nuts. He just looks a little bit off. And then of course, like on the back, you have these like screw holes that I wish they were hidden, that they could put something over them. That's something that a lot of kids probably won't care too much about, but it does bother me. But that's just, again, as a collector. And he has some articulation. You know, he can move his head a little bit, kind of sideways. Sorry about if you can hear that plane and whatnot. And he can move his arms around 360. And he can also move his wrists around a little bit. And you have one closed and you have one open as if he's going to be able to hold something, but he doesn't include anything. And he can move his legs a little bit, but you can't really get him in very much dynamic poses, which again, it depends on the kid. Thinking about this for like kids that are going to play with it, I'm sure there's some kids that'll just take this guy and like a generic Godzilla and just bash them together like this and they'll be totally fine. But I feel like even for kids, these could have a little bit more going on. Like I just wish the arms were more articulated. I feel like if they bent and moved out, it could just be a little bit more fun in general for both me as a collector and I think for younger fans picking it up. And I wish he included the axe from the movie. There is, I believe, a 6-inch scale figure that includes the axe, which I'm on the lookout for and I might pick up. But I feel like for this 12-inch large scale figure that's kind of in line with the other ones, that this should be the one that comes with an axe, or at least the one that comes with the axe. It just makes more sense in my head that sort of like the bigger, more expensive one would have the axe and kind of the stuff you'd expect to see out of a more fully featured figure. So that definitely bothers me. And also because he has it open here, if I do wind up getting / finding the 6-inch one, I'll definitely see if the held by this one, and you'll know that. So just for some size comparisons here he is next to Mechagodzilla. I'm comparing them first because they're kind of the same, they're cut from the same cloth in terms of like, they're in the same line of not really featured, no lights or anything, kind of the same scale. So I would say that this is a pretty good scale. I can't remember exactly how accurate it is from the movie or not, but I think this is decent enough in the neighborhood for what you're getting. And here he is next to the Godzilla figure I just reviewed. This is the one with fully featured lights and sounds and whatnot. And again, I don't remember the exact scale of the two from the movie because it's been a minute since I've seen it, but I do think that this is a little bit bigger. I think this could be balanced a little bit more if you're looking for a perfect scale, but it's not too bad depending on the type of display you're trying to do, but this definitely feels a little bit too big if you're trying to compare these two directly. But these are from sort of different lines. Like this is sort of just the generic 11-12-inch, just basic figure, and this is kind of featured with lights and sounds. I do wish he would get one like this too, because they're both the stars, and maybe I just haven't seen it on like their toy site or whatever, but I haven't seen anything around personally. But I would love to see a Godzilla sort of more feature figure that might have like sounds, maybe like an axe that lights up or something. It just only seems fair, to be honest. But overall, I think this guy is just okay. Honestly, I wish there was a better option for a Kong figure in this line for what I've seen so far, but I think some kids will enjoy it, and I think that if you don't have too high standards of anything, that you'll be okay with this for a simple display. It's just a little bit of a disappointment for me compared to the previous two figures that I picked up, which is Godzilla and Mechagodzilla, which you've just seen, which both of them have their problems and some of their cheapness, but for the most part I liked them more than I thought, and I was hoping that would happen when I got this guy home, and it just wasn't the same, especially for how much I like Kong in general. But anyways guys, that's about it for this one. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps, entering that bell so you can get notified videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.